and the final one is parsley and oregano. I think that's it.
My mission on this earth is to connect people to the magic of nature, to thrive physically and globally. Hi, my name's Hayley Weatherburn and welcome to Thriving with Nature. Hello! Climbing a tree? Hello Thrivers, welcome to this video. I am going to talk through about, I'm about to repot some herbs. We've got peppermint, Thai basil, this is rosemary, we've got thyme, oregano, parsley and sage. Sage has such cool leaves, they're like tongues. So I am going to be potting those. There's two reasons why I want them. I want lots of herbs in my garden, but also for some of them, ones that flower, except there is some dill, I think. Yeah, anyway. The point of having lots of herbs is of course for cooking as well as adding diversity, and as they flower, some of them will really attract some of the beneficial insects. I've got lavender coming, it's not here yet, but I need to get these in the pot so far. What I need to do first is I need to, because the pots are quite big and I'm quite happy to share, have them share in the pots, but what I need to see is the companions, is what likes to be with what, so whether some do not want to be with each other. That's one thing. I believe peppermint can get quite greedy and end up taking over. But I just need to double check that. So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to do some research, write some notes, and then work out exactly how I'm going to pot them. So let's do that. So what I'm just writing down here is I've written down all the different things, all the different herbs. There's three things I want to look at: the companion versus enemy, things that don't want to be next to each other, the watering conditions, and the sun. So we're going to have a quick little Google and have a look. All right, so from my little research, I've decided that I'm going to put peppermint by itself because, as I said, it can get quite greedy and take over, and I wouldn't mind it just getting nice and bushy. Then I'm going to plant the Thai basil and rosemary. Rosemary could actually go well with sage as well, but what I've decided to do is put sage and thyme together, and then oregano or oregano and parsley together. I'm leaving one pot free because I want it for lavender that's coming. Lavender also attracts some beneficial insects and things. Things I learned while I was just researching, interesting. Sage shouldn't be near cucumbers and carrots should be with sage. So I was just thinking about my living supplement garden, if I should add some sage seeds in there. I'd have to do it a little bit later, but also sage cannot go with cucumbers, and so there is cucumbers in there as well as carrots, so maybe not. But yeah, it's very, very interesting, the different things. It's always good to look. Eventually I want to have a companion that people can it'll automatically help you work out what you need to do. Anyway, let's get planting. So I've got this amazing compost from Unchut Gardens here in Bali and Ubud. They have an organisation called Emas Hitam, which means black gold in Indonesian. And I've seen them I've been to their compost course. It's just beautiful, beautiful. Look at this. I'll make sure I put a link down to their site there. But really good, they're teaching amazing locals about composting and about growing organically and regeneratively. It's a really, really great organisation, so I definitely recommend check it out. And if you're in Bali, definitely order your compost from there. If you can't make your own, that is. I'm going to be using this compost, and then on top of it there's going to be a thin layer of the vermicompost from my vermi bin just there. And yeah, so let's get to it. Oh, one thing, you may be lucky to see some cute kittens walking around. I'm looking after them until they're old enough, and then we'll be finding some owners, but you've got to check out the cuteness. I'll show you. Aww. All right, so the first thing we want to do is be filling up these pots. I was looking for some volcanic rock before in the gardens, but they didn't have any. I would normally like to do a little bit of that down the bottom, but that's okay. A couple of these herbs need well-drained soil, but they've got the holes in there. It should be fine, and the compost is nice and light, but it's something I've got to keep an eye on and see how we go. All right, so we've got the compost in here, the beautiful, beautiful compost soil. And now what I'm going to do is I am going to get some vermicompost and put it along the top, which is very exciting because I want to introduce in the amazing microbes from there as well. So that's what we're going to do now. Holy moly! Check out what's in the compost. Oh, look at this! Look at this! What an interesting worm and snail. It's massive. Anyway, I'll show you some of the worms. Let's have a look. Oh, here is a worm. Hey little guys. Just gonna move all this out of the way so I can get some nice worm compost. They really like it under these leafy things.
I'm just going to be putting a sprinkle. Plenty of worms to go around and they multiply a lot. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to bring and we're going to plant in the configuration. So this first one's sage and thyme, rosemary and Thai basil. Then we've got, I think I'm going to put peppermint in the far one, and the final one is parsley and oregano. I think that's it. So let's do that. Let me show you this. Look at the root systems of the leaves. It shows the roots were fully growing in there. So hopefully they'll be happier now. All right, now let's put some mulch on it. So I've planted all my herbs. I actually forgot tarragon, which was sitting on the table there, and didn't include it. But I've looked up the research, and it can actually grow in quite arid soil. And so I'm thinking that I might mix that with a little bit of sand, make it a bit more sandy than the full compost. But I just wanted to share something, a little secret with you, that I'm one of those people that is actually learning as I go, and I'm sharing this experience with you. For some of you who are looking for expert gardening tips, I'm definitely not that person. But someone who wants wants to enjoy the journey and enjoy. I'm researching as I go and I'm experimenting. I think the biggest thing about gardening is we can get caught up on being a perfectionist on how it grows. So one of these may actually not work well together. It might die. Maybe the compost is too much. Maybe it needed a bit more of something else. But the only way to know is to start to experience. Yes, you can read and do the theory, but the biggest thing in nature is just to really watch and see what she does. So over the coming days and weeks, I'm going to be watching this and seeing what happens and seeing, is it enjoying where it is it getting better? The next couple of days it may get worse before it gets better as it gets used to its new home. I know for a fact that I have a mango tree above. This area should get a lot more sun, but these two may not, and so I put these two down the end because there's a lot more shade on this end. I may need to move these two plants here as they may be causing a bit of shade potentially. So it's a learning experience. Gardening is fun, and the thing is, nature is so abundant. If you accidentally kill a tomato plant, there is so many seeds in the next tomato you eat for you to have a go. So I just want to encourage you to experiment, have a go. Even if you really don't know what you're doing, this is the best part. And so you're going to learn how to thrive with nature. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned. The next video I may be I don't know what the next video will be. But yeah, stay tuned for some more gardening tips, and head to thrivingwithnature.com if you want to learn about a garden that reads the body's conditions and grows the substances that could help your body get into optimal health. Go check out the Living Supplement Garden on thrivingwithnature.com. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell, and we'll see you next time.
For more information, you can visit thrivingwithnature.com. See you next week.